All right, let's do it. How we hanging? Why is my browser window not showing? Let's get the browser going. Boop. Boop. There we go. What's up, everybody? We're doing the dang thing. Wanted to come live, talk about some fun stuff going on. First time multi-streaming Streamlabs to Instagram. I realized it didn't work at all yesterday when I tried to do this. So bear with me. I've got like a bunch of windows open trying to monitor 3 chats. Why does Streamlabs not put Instagram or TikTok chat into Streamlabs? That's what I want to know. Kind of dumb and stupid. So, all right. So, who saw the Huntress drama? Who saw it? Can you guys see my screen well on Instagram? Yeah, it looks okay. Looks okay. Sorry, I'm like on much too small of a monitor situation to have multiple windows of chats going. But we're doing it. It's working today. Yeah, cool. All right, I see chat. Who saw this Huntress drama? This was kind of dumb that people got mad about. All right, so shocking news. Security software can see everything you do on your computer. I know. It's like really upsetting for people to know that their corporate computer gives their IT department access to all the things that they're doing. I know. It's news to everybody. But check what out. If you didn't see what happened, Huntress is like a endpoint detection response EDR tool. And it turns out a hacker got their hands on a copy of Huntress, installed it on his machine, and then Huntress was like, wait a second, we know that name. That's a bad guy that we track. And they did a whole investigation. And then they published this blog post of everything that they found on the person's machine. And then like everyone on the internet is freaking out that they like published this and that Huntress could like see all this information. Kind of silly. Guys, yes, your corporate laptop. Don't do things on your corporate laptop that you don't want people to see. Ta-da. Okay. Yeah. This is kind of silly. So, I actually didn't even read about this threat actor yet. I was just kind of following the drama. So we're going to read this together and see what this hacker was doing. Who read this? What's up, Brandon? Thanks for joining. Guys, I'm live on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram all at the same time for the first time. If you don't like your viewing experience and you would like a bigger screen, YouTube and Twitch, link in bio for YouTube and Twitch, and I'm live there too. I'm sure Huntress ran this through legal before releasing it. Yeah, that was my first thought, Brandon, I was actually kind of surprised, not necessarily surprised, but like, hey, pretty cool that that they let this go out, right? That like PR and legal let it go out. Hey, TikTok chat is showing up in Streamlabs for the first time. That's cool. Instagram still isn't. Thoughts about the last supply chain attack and how the attacker fumbled it. Yeah, I made a few videos about that already. Absolutely wild, right? That we like. So here's what happened. Some guy wrote, biggest massive supply chain attack in history, 2 billion weekly downloads. Everyone freaks out. I jump all over it. I'm like, because I knew what happened too. I like knew what that attack was. We've seen it. I've already made a YouTube video a few weeks ago of that same kind of phishing campaign on much smaller NPM packages, but it was still an interesting attack avenue. So the fact that these were massively popular NPM packages, super cool and interesting. Then you got like hey, it doesn't look like there was any downloads during the exposure window. So you got like the Galaxy Brain enlightened security nerds coming and saying, well, all you people that like talked about this, you're actually all the stupid ones. I'm actually the smart one. And I know that this actually wasn't worth talking about. What the hell do you mean it wasn't worth talking about? A threat actor got access to put malware potentially on hundreds of millions or billions of people's computers. Not billions of people's computers. Realistically, tens of thousands of people's computers, right? The weekly download numbers are all over the place and depends on like which repo and all this kind of stuff. But just absolutely, the threat actor just squandered it by trying to get a few bucks in crypto. Like this is like XZ utils near miss situation, right? Like a threat actor had unprecedented access to get malware, like his malicious code on whatever they wanted. And then it was like, oh, I made, $10 in Ethereum. So yeah, I mean, I still think worth talking about, right? Like not even defending the fact that I talked about it. I just think that like this whole enlightened, hey, it's actually not a big deal is BS. NPM packages made my lead dev go through all of his packages and check. I think that's the right move. Even if NPM published 0 downloads, you best believe if I was running an AppSec team, I would have been making sure that we didn't have any of those version numbers installed, right? Absolute insanity. All right, so this Huntress thing, who read what this threat actor actually was doing? I just saw what the threat actor did. Start of Huntress trial is really, really funny to be on a threat actor timeline, right? So it's like, oh, using Luna proxy, probing NST browser, first sign in to the Make platform, extensive research into Nigerian Bitcoin and crypto companies and other businesses, downloaded Evil Engine X, made some like fake login pages. It uses an AI writing assistant. Oh, so, hackers are using AI. Of course they are. Telegram bot into Make. Oh, and by the way, started the Huntress trial. And like, that's how we know all of this. Kind of nuts, right? So first and foremost, yes, obviously, the corporate security software is going to be able to see what websites you go to. Okay. If this is news to anybody, here you go. News flash, everybody. Your corporate security software can see what websites you go to. Ta-da. So yes, the IT people and the security people, if they need to, can see what you do on your corporate machine, right? Brandon baseball terms, dude went for a bunt when he could have had a home run. Yeah, just absolutely squandered. To go back to that NPM thing for a sec, it's also like, same with XD utils, that attack avenue is ripe for a big attack, but it also, there's double-edged sword for the attacker there's so many eyes on that code, right? If you have 2 billion weekly downloads of something, somebody is going to do a diff of the code that just came in on that dependency, right? So the trick for them is to make it subtle enough that they can sneak something in. I can bring up some examples of some supply chain attacks in code that were not caught that quickly, right? And see how that stuff was going up. Are you asking, even with a VPN, your corporate machine, if they can see what's going on? Yes. The corporate security software, sorry, it's really hard to read Instagram chat because every time someone joins it, it puts a message that someone joined, which looks indistinguishable from someone actually saying words. So I'm seeing like a bunch of names joined, and then like I wish there was like a different font for some of one. Oh yeah, morning. I'm like just now seeing that some people are chatting on Instagram. Sorry, my view is not the best. Am I worried about this one in particular? Is that corporate checking what I'm doing? It's third-party vendor checking with sensitive client data. Yeah. So this is like opened up the conversation. This is why there's like, oh, the drama of Huntress publishing this is like, oh, corporate EDR stuff can see what you're doing. Yeah, even with a VPN, yes, of course. It's like this is software on your endpoint that like has all information about what your endpoint is doing. That's the whole point, right? It's like to detect nefarious behavior, right? So for the most part, it's not like your IT team is just like sifting through what you guys are doing on your computers all day and like giggling about stuff that you Google and look at or whatever. No one cares, right? But like, this is what an investigation looks like, right? If an alert fires from your machine that you just started like crypto mining or something like that, what do you think happens, right? Like the team is going to look up and be like, what the hell has this computer been doing for the last, however many days, weeks, months, whatever. Corporate is fine seeing it. That's not really the issue. It is kind of, it is kind of a thing, right? Talk to people who have worked in DLP, in security, and see how they feel about the capabilities that's what's going on there. EDR is basically spyware for good. Yeah, pretty much, right? In other words, no one reads the logon banner that says all activity is being monitored. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it's just like, hey, don't do non-work things on your work machine, period. How does this alert look like? All right, so your questions now are, can they see what I'm doing while I'm on my VPN? And what does this alert look like? So I'm going to stop answering your questions about how to avoid corporate detection of you doing bad shit on your corporate computer. Wait, they can still see what I'm doing if I turn my VPN on? And like, what does this alert look like? Is the questions from the same person. Yeah, no. Just don't do bad stuff. Don't do bad guy stuff on your corporate computer. What's up? Thanks for the follow. Everyone like my follow noise? Yeah. Lord Parody, thanks for the follow. My 56K follow noise. I love it. Welcome. You've got mail. What up, Matt? All right. So like the funny part for all the security people on the internet in the last couple of days with this Huntress blog is the surprise, right? It's like the surprise of that, like Huntress can see all of this is the part that we're all surprised about, right? It's like, yeah, of course. Love the content. Sentinel-1 sales guy here helps me stay up to date on trends. What's up? Sales guys, welcome in chat. Sentinel-1, I know lots of happy Sentinel-1 customers, so you're good. All right, people are filtering in here. So, okay, so what did we find? Like, I actually haven't even read this blog yet, but I just kind of caught up on the drama, right? So they the long and short of like why they even flagged on this was like the threat actor didn't change their computer name, right? So this is the update. So this is the update is the in response to the drama. What you're about to read is something that all endpoint detection and response companies perform as a byproduct of investigating threats. Basically, like, yeah, hey, we all know everything, right? Because these services are designed to monitor and detect threats, EDR systems by nature need the capability to monitor the system activity. Okay, so they put this out with maybe approval of PR and lawyer, and then they got a lot of blowback, and then here comes the update with their privacy policy, terms of service, and product documentation, right? On the heels of questions around how and why Huntress released this information, we want to clarify several aspects. We have an obligation to research and respond to security threats, educate the broader community about those threats, and the dual objectives played in our decision to publish this blog. I'm glad they published this blog. I don't understand why we're like, oh, some hacker got their operational playbook published and we're all like worried about it. No, not me. Not me, not me. Right? So we love exposing We love exposing adversary. What's going on? I'm trying to just highlight stuff, and it's like going all over the place. We love exposing adversary tradecraft, and we also love when threat actors make blunders. So imagine our delight when a threat actor installed Huntress into their operating machine after finding us via one of our advertising campaigns and starting a trial, giving us a sprawling inside look in how they're using AI to build workflows, searching for tools like evil. How do you pronounce this? Evil Jinx? It's Nginx, right? So it's like Evil Nginx is kind of like how I say it in my head. We all know that security products are often downloaded by attackers for evaluation, but often we can only guess as to how they decided to target that particular technology. We recently had the pleasure of getting a front seat view into what one attacker did simply because they installed our agent and let us collect information directly from there. So, right. So like obviously hackers are going to like download Huntress, Sentinel-1, CrowdStrike, and like see if they can get whatever. But this person did it from their operating machine with the same name that was like an IOC listed elsewhere, right? So it's like, yeah, your machine name is in logs of machine names doing bad things. Sysadmin crew reporting for duty. What's up, sysadmin crew? We're using Sentinel-1 and the machines are on fire. Well, sounds like you got a sales guy to talk to in chat about your issues. This hacker is a skid. Yeah, I don't know. I'm about to read about the tradecraft of what this hacker actually did. But either way, it's always good to like get a peek behind the curtain of what they're doing. Especially if they're using AI and stuff. It's always cool to see how they're using AI. Yesterday, you gave me advice on using Claude Code to create an online blog. Can you repeat the advice, please? I think your question was like, so I give a lot of advice for people to like learn publicly. Hey, you coming to CyberWarCon? Yeah, I'm planning on it. I was actually trying to think if I had a talk to give, but I probably don't. So yeah, my advice is generally about learning publicly, and I think you asked like where. And I think like my first bit of advice is like LinkedIn is good enough, right? And then you were like, oh, where should I do a blog? And then I was like, oh, just like if you're hurting for a project, make a blog. Use Claude Code to like make your own CMS and like talk about that and how you did it and like did it right any security vulnerability. Like there's just a bunch of interesting stuff you can do there, right? You can download Claude Code and just be like, explain what you're trying to build and see what comes out of it. You're going to learn a lot just by trying, is what I was getting at. Most of these threat actors are very basic in their skill sets. Yes, I agree. Right? Unless we're talking nation states or kind of the top cybercrime gangs, I completely agree with you. The attackers tripped across our ad while researching another security solution. We confirm this is how they found us by examining their Chrome browser history. So they Googled Bitdefender and Huntress bids for the ad on Bitdefender. So that's how this hacker came upon it. It appears the attacker became interested in Huntress while simultaneously trying Bitdefender after hitting our comparison page. So they literally have like a play-by-play of what this person did in their Chrome history. So it's like they searched, this is what they have in their logs, right? So browser history showing a search for Bitdefender, then Huntress versus Bitdefender, then start your Huntress trial, right? At which point they downloaded this and then we get all this. It's no secret that threat actors may install security products. I already read that. We knew this was an adversary rather than a legitimate user based on several telling clues. The standout red flag was that the unique machine name used by the individual was the same as the one we've tracked across several incidents prior to them installing the agent. Further investigation revealed other clues. So I knew the name thing. What's the other clues? Such as the threat actor's browsing history, which appears to show them trying to actively target organizations, craft phishing messages, and find and access running instances of Evil Jinx. I hate saying that. Is it Evil Jinx? Is that how you guys say it out loud? Really sounds dumb to say that out loud. Sure. Evil Jinx and more. We also have a suspicions that their operating machine where Huntress was installed is being used as a jump box by multiple threat actors. That's interesting, but we don't have solid evidence to draw firm conclusions at this time. Evil Jin X is how you say it. Roman, I owe you a soda. Why? Evil Gen X. All right, I like Evil Gen X better. I always say Evil Engine X because it's Engine X, right? I call it Evil Engine X even though... Yeah, that's what I say. Okay, I'm not crazy. So I say Evil Engine X too. But then I was like, all right, now I'm like reading out loud in front of people and all worried about what I'm saying. All right, Evil Engine X, gavel gavel is what I will say from now on. Oh, Jinx, I owe you a soda. Got it. Jinx, I owe you a Coke. Got it. Evil Jinx. All right, so we're all over the place. I've now seen all possible pronunciations. I'm going Evil Engine X. So says me, because that's what I said before all this. Do you guys know what Evil Engine X is? It's a nasty little tool. Would that be fun to go over? Would that be fun to go over? Nope, you don't know what it is? All right. Evil... let's pull it up, yo. So I have feelings about this. They will become obvious as I talk about it. So this is this going to get me banned? I hope not. This is like this is what attackers use to build phishing frameworks, right? The part that's kind of interesting about this guy, right? So he puts out this phishing framework. What it does is like it handles all of like the behind the scenes phishing stuff. Right. So like you can clone a login page, capture creds, even capture multi-factor auth tokens, all sorts of nasty stuff. Right. So it's basically a phishing kit as a service. This guy is like sells it to red teamers and penetration testers, but guess who uses it all the time? Right. Not red teamers and penetration testers. Right. The weird part for me about this is, so this guy started selling it, right? Like you can buy it for $1,400 a year per user. Then, I don't see it on the page right now. Then he started selling a course about how to protect against it. So he put out a tool and then starting selling a course of like how to protect against the tool that he released into the world. Interesting, right? I don't see that course floating around right now. Maybe he took that down, or maybe I made that up. Infinite money glitch. You can guarantee their penetration testing not authorized. Yeah, exactly. APT short for anonymous pen test. It's not so anonymous, man. You want to see an APT's face right now? That's all security products. CT frameworks are the same way. I know. Matt, I know. That's why I don't have like a huge bone to pick with like you releasing the tool. Obviously, some people have feelings about the tools being released and like so easily used because it really lowers the skill bar needed for a threat actor to like spin that up and do what they're doing, right? But like whatever, cat's out of the bag, Pandora box, all that kind of stuff. What's up, Rachel? But then yeah, to then release a course of like how to protect against literally his tool was strange. I don't see it anymore though, so maybe he caught enough crap from it, or maybe I'm literally hallucinating. Does anyone else remember that? This was like a big part of Scattered Spider's playbook early on. So like when I was helping with any incident response related to Scattered Spider, they were using Evil Engine X, and that's when I saw that the guy was selling a how to protect against me situation. Minecraft hacked client devs made Minecraft servers that allowed the hacked client, whereas other hacked clients would be bannable. Interesting. Career fair today. Any tips? Yeah, bring business cards or like have your LinkedIn QR code ready and update your LinkedIn profile. Talk to literally every single person you can everywhere. Just like pretend to be an extrovert for the day. That's it. If you're an introvert, doesn't matter. Today, you're an extrovert. You're going to talk to literally every person at this career fair. You're going to introduce yourself. You're going to make a good handshake. You're going to tell them what you're there for, what's up, and then you're going to be ready to hand them business cards. Your LinkedIn's going to be awesome, and you're going to do great. You do, but your memory is faulty. You remember the Evil Nginx course? Yeah, cool. His consciousness kicked in. Courses on break. Oh, is that break? I saw the break dev on the bottom. Okay, it's him. I mean, whatever, right? Do you? Thought it was a little odd. Basically, Vape, one of the most known hacked clients. Shaking hands, reaching out the next day always worked for me. Yeah. Just like put your extrovert costume on. You're going to play an extrovert on TV today. Any thoughts on the privacy issues with the Huntress write-up? Welcome to chat. That's exactly what we're talking about. That's like what's going on, right? So I don't have any. My thoughts about the privacy issues is, of course, corporate EDR tools can see. No, you're good. I'm not being sarcastic. Welcome to chat. I'm literally showing the Huntress blog on screen. My thoughts on the privacy thing is like, hey, of course your corporate machine is going to be able to see everything you can do on your corporate machine. And like, no, I have no feelings about them releasing tradecraft of a threat actor. Do not care. Oracle's up 40% today? Are you serious? They were already up. What? They announced, CEO said AI fueled cloud revenue to jump to $144 billion. Oh, set to jump to $144 billion by 2030. Blech. That's all speculative. This makes a massive leap from the company's projection of less than $20 billion for the business in its current fiscal year. All right. If they've got data, that's wild. This podcast I listened to about business stuff called Oracle as like they were bullish Oracle because they think that Oracle was like the obvious play for a lot of these companies to use as their cloud data center because they're not building their own model. Google has their own models. Amazon has their own models. Microsoft has their own models. And those are the three big cloud providers. So like the thought there being Oracle can't compete on a big model. So giving them money for compute would not be fueling the competition. It was an interesting bit of insight that I heard a while ago. So I guess it's coming true, huh? It's pretty wild. Sorry, I fell behind on chat. That Oracle chat broke my brain. 40% in a day on a stock like Oracle is insane. Larry Ellison's worth more than Elon. I'm sure Elon loves that. It's like interpreter detections in Velociraptor, both made by the same company. Yeah. Velociraptor's been being used in by threat actors lately too, right? Sarcasm. It's just who Matt can be. Listen. AI fueled cloud revenue. What does that even mean? Oh, so I don't think it's like AI fueled cloud revenue is the headline. I think it literally means OpenAI is probably committing to like using a whole ass data center of theirs or something instead of Amazon or Google, because they're literally competing with Amazon and Google. OpenAI is literally competing with Amazon and Google. Microsoft owns a bunch of them, which turns out was like really constraining for OpenAI. So I'm guessing Anthropic or OpenAI or something made some big ass deal with Oracle for compute, because Oracle does have data center and compute hyperscale capability like the other big cloud vendors. They're just like a decade behind on like the features of AWS and Azure and Google have for like consumer cloud use. But since they are not competitive on making a new model, a new mega model, it makes a lot of sense that they would be used. Super interesting. But yeah, I agree. AI fueled cloud revenue is like a complete BS headline. Super funny, right? No expectation of privacy on corporate machine. Completely agree. Projecting +2 customers to OCI. Yeah. Multi-model is the new multi-cloud strategy. That's a really good way to put it. Yeah, I actually see this going a few ways. I see either... so I don't think like GPT-6 is the next game changer where Sam's like vision of like an actual PhD level employee comes out. I see instead of like the new, because like GPT-5 was kind of a sizzle, right? Just kind of was like, whatever, fizzle, right? It was just kind of like, whatever. Yeah, it's better in some ways, same kind of BS in other ways. What I see happening there is the like AI startup bubble that's going on right now. Really what they're building is scaffolding and piping around context to the big major models. So that's going to get better. And then the other thing is I think we're going to see specialized training, like the same amount of money that went behind GPT-5 training, and it's training on all data it can possibly train on of the entire internet. Take that same gargantuan effort and train a financial analyst model only. What happens? You know what I mean? Like, or just take that same level of effort and just train the coding model. I think the specialized models are going to turn the corner. I think we're starting to see diminishing returns on the generic models, right? In the last couple releases. Counting the days until the AI bubble joins the other terrible looks like NFTs. So no, I completely disagree. So I think AI bubble is more like .com bubble. Like we still all do .com stuff all day. I think AI is here. I think OpenAI and Anthropic have like one, right? I think AI bubble means all these overinflated startups below them. There's going to just be a few clear winners there, and we're going to see a massive correction from all the VC money that's like been pouring into them for sure. But like, I don't think AI bubble is like NFTs. I think that ship is well past sailed. NFTs were never, ever, ever as game changing. I mean, they weren't game changing at all. They were a novelty, right? Specialized models, specific vector databases make them much safer. Completely agree. Completely agree. So I think we're going to start to see that, right? Like the DeepSeek stuff made it like, you know, there's different training methodologies like we saw with DeepSeek that other players can make kind of these niche models a little bit more interesting. Some companies are just features in other products waiting to be acquired. 100%. Yeah, they're like the startup ecosystem is going to change, but like AI bubble popping doesn't mean AI disappears. Daniel Miessler talks a lot about AI, and he actually said bubble is the wrong word for it for this exact reason. Here, I actually have his blog up, don't I? Because I always have Daniel Miessler's blog up. No, AI is not in a bubble. Literally his blog about this, right? Bubbles are when things turn out to be hype and they get proven wrong and die. Person one, no, it just means it's overinflated like the .com bubble. We still have the internet, don't we? And then Marcus literally said, bubble simply means that the market is significantly overvalued relative to the fundamentals. Whether the tech dies or continues on after the bubble burst is irrelevant. I'm on LinkedIn.com right now, but I don't see anyone arguing that there wasn't a .com bubble. Dan's whole thing is just like, it's going to be a correction. It's just a, you know, a language kind of nitpick. Bubbles pop and then they disappear, right? They pop. It's their main thing. So he put some thought into this. We got distracted on Evil Engine X and then somehow wound up in an AI rabbit hole. Should we keep looking at this Huntress threat actor and what we found out about him? The AI being duct taped onto everyone's tech needs to end. Yeah, that part's gonna be the fad part, right? Everyone having a worse chatbot experience duct taped into their products that's going to just suck until it stops sucking, right? All right. We talked about how they knew it was an adversary. What's next? Huntress analyst went on to evaluating the outstanding indicators of compromise, found the adversary's host and how they related to data found within authentications to identify at Huntress. Retroactive hunts disclosed a further 20 identities which were compromised, many of which had been accessed by the adversary prior to the Huntress deployment against that identity. All right, interesting. Overall analysis, the adversary's primary operating infrastructure hosted on Autonomous System Canada Inc., now known as Virtuo, disclosed a pattern of access over 2,471 unique identities spanning the last 2 weeks, many of which were preemptively caught by additional detection capabilities. Malicious mail rule, session token theft, blah, blah, blah. Intelligence gathered by the above has resulted in detections of high confidence against the adversary. Okay. We're able to see the threat actors' specific day-to-day activities. This is what I'm interested in. From their methodologies to specific types of organizations and even individuals that they were interested in. We saw them begin to... Why, when I highlight on this blog, does it jump up? It's so frustrating. Skill issue. We also saw them begin to tinker with tools and search for tutorials attempting to learn more. For instance, after installing Huntress, the threat actor took steps to better understand auto runs. This is the kind of stuff I'm interested in, right? Okay, we got view. Damn, a bit late. Hope I didn't miss much. No, I'm gonna be on for a while. You're good. We're just talking the Huntress stuff right now. But I've got a bunch of tabs open to talk about a bunch of news. So we can talk about... What else do I have? We're going to talk about a bunch of news before we get off. Patch Tuesday, Apple made some big memory improvement that I wanted to read into because some really smart people I know said it's like one of the biggest things that's ever released by Apple, and I do not understand it yet, so I want to understand it with you guys. ICE using fake cell towers. We're going to talk about that. Hacker going to jail. There was another hacker. What was this one? Silicon Valley Tech enabled the mass detention and surveillance in China. So we've got some stuff to talk about there. U.S. indicts a Ukrainian national for hundreds of ransomware attacks. And I think he's got a $10 million bounty on his head. So we're going to talk about a bunch. But we're just going through Huntress now. I want to see what this guy did day to day. Super interesting to me, right? Overfire for AI and then beg people to come back. Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen too. I think there's going to be this big correction of like, there's going to be a bunch of layoffs because everyone wants to trim fat anyway. And like layoffs are a PR thing. So if everyone's firing because of quote unquote AI, people that wanted to do like 9,000 layoffs are going to do 9,000 layoffs and point to AI and be like, yeah, it's because of AI. Obviously, that's why we're firing these people, even though they just wanted to do it to correct anyway. And then I think the second wave, Brandon, I agree, is going to be like the actual leaders who think they've gained efficiency due to AI trying to correct. They're going to overcorrect, and they're going to probably have to claw people back, right? The other thing that like I keep pointing to is like it's not like our appetite for software is going down. So it's like, yeah, we can write a lot more software. Guess what? We're also going to want a lot more software. Like I've never worked anywhere that was like, yeah, if we could just hire less people and like make less software, that's my goal. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, they're just going to want to put out more faster. But yeah, as it stands right now, you still need skilled engineers. They're just doing the work. One skilled engineer with Claude Code can do the work of more than one skilled engineer without Claude Code, for sure, in terms of sheer code output. If you have no skilled engineers, you're just screwed. So in terms of like AI taking over, no, but it's going to be interesting. Ooh, fake cell towers recently, same tactics used in Korea to hack personal info on one of the telecom companies here. Yeah. I read about the Korea stuff too. I think I have that tab open as well. That was recently, right? All right. So Google search. This hacker searching auto-run Huntress management console. So they're just like searching a bunch of stuff from opening Huntress. Overall, over the course of 3 months, we saw an evolution in terms of how the threat actor refined their process, incorporated AI into their workflows, and targeted different organizations and vertical markets as outlined in Figure 5. Time to work on those soft skills. Yeah, no joke. Good morning from Norway. Good morning, my people. You do see my last name, right? I am Norwegian myself. I've never been, though. The Chrome browser history gave a firsthand look at how the adversary is using AI to increase their operational efficiency. This is stuff I was interested in. This is what I wanted to see, right? So it's like threat actors using the stuff that we use to like write code and do all this stuff. Lorenzo, good point about customized software will continue to drive the need for software experts. Yeah, I agree. I also think we're going to see this weird shift from like these mega SaaS companies that have every feature under the sun and cost a lot of money. We're going to start to see these smaller AI-driven startups pull out some of their most useful features and sell it, downstream. Or we're going to see, like, if I had a big software team right now and I was becoming more efficient, what I would do instead of layoffs is take some of my team that doesn't need to make customer-facing features for me anymore and start making internal versions of SaaS software that we currently spend a bunch of money on, right? Like if I'm Microsoft and I've got, 8,000 developers that I'm looking at going, could we do the same amount of work with 3,000 developers with AI? Instead of letting go all those other developers, what if we were like, hey, do we need to be spending $1 billion on all this other software out there right now? Or could we use those people that we were going to lay off to like rewrite those people? That's what I would be looking at. Crypto supply chain attack, are they contained now? Yeah, they were all contained really fast. Still definitely check your version numbers from all of the IOCs. But yeah, as far as we know, like all the malware that was out there is not on NPM anymore. This is, of course, based on the couple developers that we know got phished and like how and all that kind of stuff. So, hey, if you're in IG, it looks frozen on my screen. Am I frozen? Or can you hear and see me on Instagram? I can't even explain how dumb my setup looks because Streamlabs can't put everything into Streamlabs. So I've got like 3 windows up trying to keep track, but IG just looks frozen. All right, so I want to see how the threat actor is using AI because that's super interesting to me, right? What the hell? Sorry. So I just had TikTok chat was minimized because it was starting to show up in Streamlabs, but now it looks like it's not. Ugh, man, this sucks. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, guys. I'm like, first time trying to multi-stream everywhere. You were on IG, but it froze, so you switched to YouTube. And then someone on IG said, we can see and hear you just fine. All right. I don't know what's going on. Streamlabs did have TikTok chat showing up for a very long time, and now it does not. Now, like Roman, I'm now just starting to see your chats again. This is weird, man. Thanks, can see you. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep on chugging. Sorry if just shout if anything's weird, if I'm like completely missing chats. Yeah, TikTok chat was consolidated into Streamlabs, so I could finally minimize that window, and I just brought it up again, and it's, yeah, now I'm seeing your stuff, and it's not showing up in Streamlabs. So dumb. Streamlabs, get your crap together, or skill issue on my part. I don't know. So May 25th, the threat actor signed up for Make.com, which is a workflow automation software. It's kind of like Zapier, Make, right? Before researching the platform's Telegram bot integration feature as a way to launch automated processes. So we're doing this all off of their search history. They make an account on Make.com, and then they explore Telegram bot integration into Make.com. So basically what this is going to set up for the hacker is a trigger in Telegram will then do something in make.com, right? So it's like, oh, we can go do something else. Over time, the threat actors started to get a better grasp of how they could use make.com for specific workflows. This is what I want to know. What's the workflow? By the time June 29th rolled around, the threat actor had fully developed their workflow with Make, as seen in Figure 8. The threat actor would first identify the organization of interest, typically after receiving a tip from Telegram, before using Google Translate to translate or craft messages related to these organizations. And while we don't have detailed insight into how the threat actor was using Make for these specific workflows, that's what I want to know. We could see that it was part of the process to automate the specific functions. Damn, that's what I wanted to know. I was hoping we would see like the actual make.com workflow that the threat actor was using. The threat actor also appeared to be interested in other AI tools which help the data generation and writing. We saw multiple Google searches for free AI, no sign up, CSV generator. Sorry, threat intel alert. I just wanted to see if it was something we should talk about. The CSV generator feature of DocsBot AI, which is an AI chatbot tool. I've never heard of that. DocsBot AI. And the AI data generator feature of Explo AI, which is embedded analytics tool. So finding and running instances of Evil Engine X. Yeah, threat actor searching for running instances of Evil Engine X man-in-the-middle attack framework using Census and then attempting to access those instances. Interesting. So using Census, kind of like Shodan, right, to try to find Evil Engine X stuff floating around on the internet and then hijacking them, right? Super interesting. In addition to Evil Engine X, we also found evidence of multiple installed tools on the threat actor's system. In the threat actor's toolbox, Evil Engine X, Graph Spy, Social Engineer's Toolkit is still kicking around. Dude, Social Engineer's Toolkit is from when I was a child hacker. I have Security Plus cert and a decent portfolio. How likely to land a job? 7. Bloodhound, Powersploit, Graph Runner, Team Filtration, Devil Engine X, possibly installed, not found in the browser history, and then the Greatness Phishing Kit. Not to be snarky, I don't like you saying how likely to land a job gives me no information about you, what kind of job you're looking for, where you're at. So I thought that was funny. 7 likely. Imagine if this was just a marketing scheme for all these AI tools we've never heard of. Yeah, right? That'd be funny. Bloodhound is good for Active Directory. Yeah. Bloodhound's been around a super long time. But Social Engineer's Toolkit is Dave Kennedy, who runs multiple cybersecurity companies now. But back when he was a little hacker, I'm talking my first ShmooCon in 2008, he released Social Engineer's Toolkit. I mean, that's that's been around a long time. I didn't know it was still kicking around as part of people's kits. The Chrome browser history also revealed visits by the threat actor to multiple residential proxy web pages, including Luna Proxy, NST Browser, which bills itself as the anti-detect browser and supports the use of residential proxies. The threat actor visited the pricing plan page for Luna Proxy, researched specific products, and looked up quick start guides throughout May. I don't know what a lot of these tools are, but I'm not super up to date on this specific type of threat actor toolkit. All right, I think I got what I'm going to have out of this. The Google Translate's kind of funny. The threat actor used Google Translate extensively, and Chrome browser shows them first visiting bank websites and then using the translation platform likely to assist in crafting phishing-related messages. I mean, duh, right? They're not US-based. Several entries in the browser that showed us Google Translate to translate messages from Portuguese to English alongside banks in Brazil, then evidence of crafting messages later in their history. Super interesting. We saw the threat actor express interest in the Styx market, a dark web forum that's been around since 23. Styx Market, Dark Web, Rising Star for Stealer Logs, Stolen Creds, and Laundering Services. EDR activities. Rarely do you ever get a chance to actually shoulder surf a real threat actor. We had the opportunity when they installed our agent. It starts out mundane enough. We don't know what they must have dreamed about after ending their shift at 2 a.m. previous night, but as mentioned earlier, you can see them start a trial, download the agent, and install it. I'm just so glad that they posted this blog. I know it like caused drama for them, but would you do DFIR or cyber engineering? Depends how you want to spend your days. Do you want to write code? Do you want to like do incident response? DFIR is a great career path. I mean, both are great choices. I know very happy and well compensated security engineers and DFIR people. So just depends how you want to spend your day and what you're skilled at. All right. I think we got most of the interesting stuff out of this. Hours worked in a day. I mean, this is super cool, right? So like for people who do threat hunting, this kind of blog is super valuable, right? Because it's like tradecraft. So this is just showing you various red flags. We can kind of like figure out some other things that we might want to queue off of in other logs and stuff like that. Trying to sneak into security, been in IT for, sorry, my chat window's too small. 1.5 years, got my AZ900. What are my chances? You're like the third person to ask what are the chances. That's like not the right question, right? Like your chances are what you make of them. Like you're good. Anyone can like get into security. Like what are your chances is not the right question. How, like, who should I talk to? What kind of roles should I look into? But you guys are like, you're fine. It's not like there's a gate. No one's gated from getting in. All right. I think I'm done with this blog. I am now. This is interesting. Top crypto companies in Nigeria was a lot of their searching. The other interesting thing was the attacker was mostly focused on banks and sites that were in Nigeria during this time period, even looking for these things. All right, cool. Thanks, Huntress. I don't do the drama. I don't do the drama thing. All right, what do we want to talk about next? Fake cell towers. Oh, how do I not lose hope with this shit? What shit? Lose hope with what? Should you go for Sec Plus? I don't really find a lot of value in the Sec Plus, but I think if you've got tech chops, it's really just about Sec Plus is not mandatory. No, I'd say the vast majority of people I've worked with in cybersecurity have never even sniffed the Sec Plus. So no, not mandatory. Figure out what kind of jobs you want. Go like deep down those rabbit holes and then learn as much as you can about it, however you can. And then whatever. GovWise. What do you mean, Roman? Using 2.5 Pro to write, moderate. Am I working now? What do you mean? This is kind of it. You're looking at it, baby. How ICE is using fake cell towers to spy on people's phones. This is a fun one. Many gov's jobs require Sec Plus type certs. Yeah, sure. Stingrays have been used to locate people. Lots of homeless people in my area are using IP16 plus. Yeah. Stingrays have been a thing for a while, right? Am I working in cyberspace? Yeah. Ooh, thanks for the follow. Who just followed? Chaotic. Thanks for the follow, Chaotic. Any comments, observations on the interesting from the MS patch this week? I had it open. It doesn't look like a big one. I wasn't going to make a video like scaring everyone to like update Microsoft. It looked like a pretty normal patch Tuesday. There was no known 0 days or actively exploited vulnerabilities. So it's kind of just like a pretty normal patch Tuesday, if that's what you mean. Google and Apple, though, I have been making those videos because they've been patching spyware stuff. Right, this window and NTFS is important, but it's not like none of these things are like new Kev type vulnerabilities. SharePoint was a big one in patch Tuesday yesterday. Nothing jumped out at me. I mean, yeah, run your updates, everybody, but like nothing was like, oh God. This was the one that I was yelling at everyone about, was the spyware stuff, right? It's like, hey, update your iPhones. And then Google Chrome fixed some stuff, right? And then Android fixed some stuff that were actively exploited. So update your phones, obviously update your Windows devices, but nothing was like things were on fire or whatever. Chris, thanks for subscribing.
Welcome.
Appreciate you. Lost TikTok. Where did TikTok go? Jacoby, what up? Hi, Dad. Dude, so multiple people in my DMs have taken to calling, apparently, crazy follow sound. You like my follow sound? I like it. Apparently, I've been informed that there are some group chats out there that share my videos among them sometimes and they refer to me as Cyber Daddy. Cyber Daddy telling us something today. So Jacoby, you saying hi, Dad, that just made me laugh. Love your video, super informative. Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate you. Thanks for joining the live. What do you think about the infinite money glitch with Cyber? Which one is that? The logic is there. Yeah. So no, I wasn't too crazy about Patch Tuesday today. I mean, obviously, yeah, everyone update, but like I wasn't gonna make a separate video about it. This one was the thing. So some very smart people in my life said that this is like the most important security release that Apple has done like ever. Some like incredibly smart people in my life are talking about this memory safety thing going out to the new Apple devices that they've been working on. Someone was on Twitter saying that they've been working on this since 2017, and the fact that it's spanning half a decade. I don't know. I haven't read this yet. I don't know what this is by name right offhand. If anyone does, sound off in chat. You're smarter than me. Thank you for being here and being smarter than me. I want to learn about it though. Should we read about it? So this is apparently like the biggest improvement in memory safety that Apple has ever been able to do, making like the new iPhone incredibly secure to specifically like memory type stuff, right? There's never been a successful widespread malware attack against iPhone. The only system level iOS attacks we observe in the wild come from mercenary spyware, which is vastly more complex than regular cyber criminal activity and consumer malware. Mercenary spyware is historically associated with state actors who use exploit chains that cost millions of dollars to target a very small number of specific individuals on their devices. We know this. Paragon, Pegasus, all this kind of stuff, right? Although the vast majority of users will never be targeted in this way, these exploit chains demonstrate some of the most expensive, complex, and advanced attacker capabilities at any given time and are uniquely deserving of study as we work to protect iPhone users, even against the most sophisticated threats. Known mercenary spyware chains against iOS share a common denominator with those targeting Windows and Android. They exploit memory safety vulnerabilities. This is the same thing like Chrome. This is why Chrome pays out all this stuff, right? They exploit memory safety vulnerabilities, interchangeable, powerful, and exist throughout the industry. This is why CISA is like, yo, everyone write Go and Rust and less C and C++, right? Because memory safety is really hard in C. Security is illusion, but we'll push security when everything has a backdoor. What? No, but I'll listen to you. You're like, no, I don't care about this, but go off, King. For Apple, improving memory safety is broad effort that includes developing safe languages, deploying mitigations at scale. So I'm guessing this is about, I don't know. They talk a lot about memory safety when they talk about their like their secure cloud stuff that they're doing, that they released with all the like Siri off device stuff. That was super interesting. I like dissected all that. You can go back and find my video on that. Secure allocators take advantage of knowing the type on purpose of allocation so that memory can be organized in a way that's okay. I don't want to go too deep into like why memory safety is hard, right? I want to figure out what this thing that they just released does, and like why we should care, right? Allows developers to identify memory corruption bugs immediately after they occur. Enhanced memory tagging in 2022. Consider that MTE can be configured to report memory corruption either synchronously or asynchronously. This is like really low level stuff. I know that this is like not fun to talk about on stream. I'm trying to find the like why this matters. Hello, Matt. What do you think the best way to make money with ethical hacking and pen testing? I mean, bug bounty. A lot of people make good money bug bountying, or go get a full-time pen testing gig. Still not going to buy an iPhone. You're an Android fan, Jacoby. Yeah, they are saying that this will protect from state level spyware. I want to know why and what this actually does and why this is going to make spyware harder and how much harder. Is it going to cost tens of millions now, but it's still possible? You know what I mean? Are we just making spyware more expensive, or did they stop it on iPhones? We're introducing the culmination of this effort: memory integrity enforcement, comprehensive memory safety defense for Apple platforms. Robust foundation provided by our secure memory allocators, coupled with the enhanced memory tagging thing that we just talked about in synchronous mode, and supported by extensive tag confidentiality enforcement policies. MIE is built right into Apple hardware and software in all models of iPhone 17 and iPhone Air. Always on memory safety protection for our key attack surfaces, including the kernel, while maintaining the power performance the users expect. In addition, okay, the rest of this post dives into the intensive engineering effort required. All right, I'm gonna be too dumb for this part. Hold on, let me put on Do Not Disturb. I keep getting texts. I'm going to be too dumb for this, and this is too low level for this part of the stream. I want to figure out, why and what both approaches revealed. Memory integrity enforcement vastly reduces the exploitation strategies available to attackers. Though memory corruption bugs are usually interchangeable, MIE cuts off so many exploit steps at a fundamental level that it was not possible to restore the chains by swapping in new bugs. Even with substantial effort, we could not rebuild any of these chains to work around MIE. The few memory corruption effects that remained are unreliable and don't give attackers sufficient momentum to successfully exploit these bugs. So is that it? Are we did we win? Chat, did we do it? Yes, most definitely. Jacoby, you're big in Android, customization, etc. Yeah. I get it. iPhone's like a kind of a sandbox, right? Chat, did we do it? Do I drop what I'm doing and go get an iPhone 17 and I'm done? Spyware's out of my threat model? I'm gonna tweet that right now. This is nuts. Security evaluation. Where did I read that part? What do I want to know? This part right here, right? I'm going to tweet this. Yeah, this is kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts, everybody. All right. Chat, did we do it? Is iPhone spyware cooked? Context, this blog. The way I'm reading this, iPhone 17 just became the most secure mobile device ever. This is nuts. Still need yeah, phishing still works, but spyware doesn't anymore. Do I write chat? Did we do it on LinkedIn, or do I like make it sound more professional? Esteemed colleagues, did we do it? Esteemed colleagues. I'm gonna write chat. Did we do it? Chat, did we do it? This is how I talk on LinkedIn. Who cares? Who cares? Sorry, I had chat minimized for a sec. Let me catch up. Roman, thoughts on the 17 Air? I mean, this is my thought right now, is if Apple just like solved memory corruption in iPhone back in the days, December was the high season for security breaches. That's still the case. Yeah, I'd say U.S. holidays are still like big time security breach time for sure. Ever since my iPhone 4 or 5 fell off a table in a Defender case and broke, I've been an Android user. That's one reason. Is it worth getting into cybersecurity? Yeah. Say chat, help LinkedIn be less cringe for us all. I think I'm more cringe on LinkedIn just to like balance it out. At least 90% of Americans can't afford an iPhone 17. Yeah, it's kind of expensive. But most Americans live off of credit. So just do the monthly payments for the new phone. Right, everybody? That's fine. Still need to stop people from clicking phishing emails. Completely agree. That would still work. I only post about my lawn on LinkedIn just to protect being so stuffy and lame. Sweet. Copy and paste this article in Claude and ask if we won. All right. You want me to? Let's do it. Let's see. I'm going to do ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, did we win? Hey, did we win? Is that it? No more iPhone hacking or spyware? Do you see more demand in cloud security? Currently have CCSP, but find that usually a mix of DevOps, DevSecOps roles. Yeah, I mean, those all go hand in hand, right? DevSecOps, cloud security. Yeah, I see a ton of demand in cloud security. It's super hard to hire. I was trying to hire a cloud security guy in my last job for cloud security gal. We actually wound up hiring 7 months I was interviewing. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to fill. All right, Roman, we're going to see what chat says if we've done. Incoming a very verbose answer from GPT. GPT is going to be like, yes, absolutely, or no, it's not. No, hacking is obviously still possible. I'm interested to see what it says. It's probably not going to be very interesting, but I'm interested anyway. I want to see what it says. It's taking forever. Just started network security certificate at my college. First class is A+ material. Should I skip the exam and just do the course material? I mean, up to you. I don't think the cert is worth a whole lot, but if you are like ready to rock, I mean, I don't know. If school is doing it, maybe just rock with it. I don't think A+ really does much for you, but what are some of the requirements you were looking for? Would love to hear your perspective. What was important? Yeah, I'd say the reason it was so hard to hire a cloud security person at that gig was we did put them through a code screen, and that filtered out a ton of people. Even though it wasn't like a hard code screen, but just like, hey, use whatever language you want and like solve this problem. And most people were just like, nah, I don't code. So that was super hard. But yeah, I mean, familiarity with, AWS and all the bells and whistles, Google Cloud, bells and whistles, one or the other is really like, if you're strong in one and familiar with the other, you're probably pretty good. Azure, depending on your shop, right? But like really understanding like CloudTrail, what GuardDuty does and doesn't do, like, my interview questions based on that were like, all right, here's the architecture. You've got EC2 boxes. You've got Kubernetes stuff going on. You've got S3 buckets. You're the security engineer. I'm the like product manager attached to security. Walk me through all the things I need to put on my roadmap to like build security into this thing. The whole, like, you were never going to get to everything, but I just wanted to like test that you knew how to kind of bake security into like a cloud architecture. But then, yeah, the coding screen really is what made it super hard. All right. ChatGPT said, short answer, big win, but not game over. What they shipped: always on synchronous hardware memory tagging, type aware allocators deployed to the kernel. Apple claims they couldn't reconstruct past mercenary spyware chains under MIE, and the remaining memory corruption effects are unreliable. What this likely kills: most classic heap grooming or UAF or OOB or out of bounds. Use after free or out of bounds. I don't usually see those as acronyms. In the usual fronts like image, font, and web parsers, because of per allocation tags must match at access and retag on free breaks, temporal bugs. Okay. What still survives? Non-memory bugs. Yeah, duh. Logic flaws, auth state mistakes, design issues, server-side abuse. Yeah, of course. But that stuff doesn't happen anyway. Like, all the spyware is using memory bugs. Apple acknowledges like infra allocation overflows. These are uncommon, but not impossible. Other surfaces not explicitly in scope, like Baseland core processor, which one's separate firmware. iOS uses distinct processors and boot chains here. Blah, 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 blah. I think that means we're done. Chat, we did it. Chat, we did it. Has anyone covered what's been happening with Cloudflare? What's happening with Cloudflare? Have you ever added support for physical security card authentication in any application? Do you mean like YubiKey physical security card authentication in any application? Do you mean WebAuthn? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I mean WebAuthn is super popular. Nobody on my CloudSec team coded. It was all cloud engineers. Yeah, that was like a bar that we debated long and hard if we were going to hold that bar firm, because a lot of the people on the cloud team, it's not like you would want them coding. But we held the bar firm, and we wound up finding a very, very talented person. And the fact that they could code was integral into everything that we were doing in the cloud security space. So completely team dependent of if they're going to require coding knowledge in cloud security. If I was building a cloud security team right now, I absolutely would require it. Even just understanding GitHub, PRs, like that whole workflow, and then everything we were doing was infrastructure as code. So everything was Terraform, like Vault, like HashiCorp Vault, like everything was infrastructure as code. Like we were doing even IAM, like identities, cloud identities were managed in Terraform. So if you just had no idea how to like mess around with a Terraform script, open a PR in GitHub and like get a change merged, it's like, man, that's rough. That's rough. The Cloudflare sales loft drift incident. Yeah. That's last week news, right? I've covered it. I made some videos about it. PKI based or FIDO2. Yeah. FIDO2 on apps is super, super common. WebAuthn is what you're looking for, Sankalp. WebAuth, the letter N. Hey, Matt, currently I'm going to study in university. Eventually want to specialize GRC in management. Afraid of falling behind on technicals. Is that a valid concern? It's totally a valid concern. It's something I've hyper focused on in my entire career, is like not losing technical chops. Man, did they dangle more money in front of me early in my career? Boy, howdy, did the sales team want me to be a sales engineer, because I was good at talking to people, but I was the like head of research and like doing pen testing stuff. But they loved to throw a suit jacket on me and bring me to customers and conferences. And they're like, hey, we'll pay you more for a sales engineer. And I was like, no. I will lose my technical chops, and I like doing the technical stuff. So yeah, it's a thing. The solution is stay as technical as you can, whether it's in your day job or without, right? It's amazing how stupid yet technical GPT can be. I don't think it said anything stupid. It straight up was like, here's the areas that this protects and here's it doesn't. I think it's right. How would you suggest pulling and rotating an AWS IAM user key from an on-prem non-AWS legacy SVC? It's an incredibly specific question. Okay, hold on. How would you suggest pulling and rotating an AWS IAM user key from an on-prem non-AWS legacy SVC? What do you mean? How would I suggest to do it? I mean, can't you just create a new key in like and not keep it on-prem non-AWS? I'm sorry, I'm confused with the question. My SE made 4x what he did at his technical job. He made 4x becoming an SE off the technical side. 4x is a lot. Did he make 100K and then make 400K? Is that what you're saying? Is that kind of the gist? That's a very highly paid SE. Sorry, I missed your answer. Have you integrated support for it? Can you share some advice? Yeah, WebAuthn is what you're looking for, Sankalp. WebAuthn is the FIDO2 into the app thing that you're looking for. Yeah, it's super common. Just look up how to bake FIDO2 into a web app. Chris, yeah, 100K to 400K. I mean, 400K is a very well compensated SE. I'm guessing for a large hardware or software company. Or both. And those numbers aren't far off either. Yeah. So call it, 120 to 450 or something like that. That's pretty high. That's a highly paid SE. That'd be hard to say no to, right? Do I think data engineering will die? No. No. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, WebAuthn is the library. Yeah, I've done it. It's not that hard, Syncop. There's tons of documentation about the FIDO2 baking the FIDO2 support into your application. All right. Apple cooked with this one. That's pretty cool. What else do we want to talk about? I haven't really hit this fake cell tower thing yet. The Stingray stuff has been around a long time, but that doesn't seem to be what they're talking about here, right? Oh, it is. It literally is Stingray. I thought it was something different. Like, of course they're using Stingray. Stingray or cell site simulator attempts to find and remove undocumented immigrants. The tool tricks the phone into thinking it's a cell tower. And when a suspect's device connects, the cops can trace its location. Its use is controversial because anyone in the same area, yeah, it literally tracks a bunch of people that are not suspected of anything. In recent unsealed search warrant, used such a cell site simulator to attempt to track down an individual in Utah. The suspect has been ordered to leave the U.S., is believed to still be in the country. Investigators learned last month that before going to Utah, he'd escaped prison in Venezuela, is now serving sentence for murder. According to this warrant, he's also suspected of being linked to gang activity. Blah. So they Stingray his whole neighborhood. ICE has an active contract worth $4.5 million with the original Stingray manufacturer, Harris Corporation, for unspecified equipment to determine the location of targeted mobile handsets. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, this isn't news, right? I mean, this is like a current thing, but yeah, Stingray stuff is why when people say, hey, are you protesting? Leave your phone at home. Don't do all the like fancy Faraday bags or whatever. It's just like, leave the damn thing at home. I've been thinking about firmware vulnerability, Assault Typhoon. Would you say that level of attack is becoming more common? How can we defend against the home small office from this? Yeah, Taylor, it's something keeps me up at night too. We've been hearing like mumblings about all the edge devices on the internet. Like, hold on, let me pull up FBI Ray edge devices China. Let's see if I can find. Let's see if I can find the stuff I'm talking about. Let's see. Here's this one. Sorry, putting it on the screen. So this is kind of what you're talking about, right, Taylor? Is like the critical infrastructure stuff. Hey, Doe, Natties, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. Welcome. This is what you're talking about, right? So, yeah, this is the stuff that keeps me up at night, too, right? Is like like this Director Ray, this is a few years ago now, right, is saying that China has already owned, they have evidence that they've already owned a bunch of like edge devices, routers, stuff like that, right? And then they've done nothing with that access, right? Like occasionally they'll like flip a switch on like a water plant in like Pennsylvania or something like that, right? Yeah, as far as like protecting like the small, medium businesses of this, it's like, hey, they're hacking their routers, right? That are going to be on the internet. So the couple things that are super obvious is just like not like don't allow access to those management portals from the internet if you can, because that's how they're doing a lot of the firmware stuff. And then obviously keeping the firmwares up to date. But a lot of that, I mean, it's kind of useless advice, right? Because if like TP-Link owns like 56% of the market, right? TP-Link is China owned. So like we're already starting to hear mumblings of should we be worried about TP-Link, right? Yeah, it's not just about banning Huawei devices, physical factory supply chain too. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, right? So this you're hitting on something that absolutely keeps me up at night when I think about it too long. If this was something that I was like significantly worried about in my threat model, I would be using more modern router infrastructure and trying to control the supply chain as much as I could on like the firmware and hardware and software of those devices that have to be on the edge, and then just making sure you keep those things up to date, right? TP-Link stuff is just, I mean, 0 days galore, right? I can't find the exact article. I don't want to sit here and search for it. He literally talks about how they have evidence that there's a ton of edge device routers that are currently owned and that China is not doing anything with that access. That's just a terrifying thing to know about, right? Not necessarily spying. They're just kind of sitting there. They just have the access. Worried about the critical infrastructure stuff for sure. So DEF CON had like a thing this year about this. What was it called? AICCC, DEF CON. Right? The AI Cyber Challenge at DEF CON. Taylor, did you go to DEF CON? This was super cool. Loitering stuff keeps me up to. Yeah. It's like, what's going on, right? Why do they have access that they're not doing anything with? Is it like a shot across the bow? Are they letting us know that they could do something? Are they going to do something all at once? Yeah, I don't know, right? All right, so this was at DEF CON. This section of DEF CON was so cool. They took up all the space for the villages. Yeah, kind of. It was the biggest one for sure, right? I'm going to interview. I talked to the guy from Trailer Bits a little bit. I'll put that video up. I got a little bit of it. But I want to interview them longer about what won here. Sorry, just checking my calendar that I'm not streaming through a meeting. Okay, I've got till 1. So the booth, man, can I find pictures of the booth? It'd be really cool if I could find pictures of the booth. Oh, man. I'm not seeing pictures. So anyway, this setup at DEF CON. Oh, yeah, right here. I went right past it. So it was like this giant section in DEF CON that was taught, and it was like split up into all of the like main critical infrastructure sectors of the U.S., right? So there was healthcare, telecommunications, what was it? Power, water, and then like transportation, right? And so like there was sections of this booth dedicated to each of the critical infrastructure things. And then this competition was funded by DARPA for these companies to make an AI tool that by joining the competition, they had to open source it. And this tool had to then find vulnerabilities in software packages that are commonly used by these critical infrastructure companies, right? So they had to make, what was it called? An AI cyber reasoning framework, I think it was called. Cyber reasoning CRF, maybe. And it was basically like this tool needs to be able to find and fix vulnerabilities in these platforms. Then in order to then they scored it, right? So in order to score points, they had to find and fix the vulnerabilities. So, and then in order to make it realistic or at least measurable, sorry, I'm scrolling all over the place. I'm like trying to find something to sit on. In order to make it like actually measurable, they like seeded these open source systems with vulnerabilities. So then they knew like, hey, there's some of these vulnerabilities here. Some of those vulnerabilities were like easier to find than others. So the easier to find ones were worth less points. The harder to find ones were worth more points. And then if the system actually successfully fixed it, that was worth more points. If the fix was not production safe and like broke the code, 0 points, right? So this is what like their scoring rubric, right? And then the coolest freaking thing, as Roman just said in chat, the coolest freaking thing is not only did they find the vulnerabilities I think there was 70 vulnerabilities that got put out into these things. Not only did they find those vulnerabilities, they found 12 zero days in popular packages with these new AI cyber reasoning framework tools. They found 12 zero days and fixed them. We're talking about like in OpenSSL, we're talking about like very popular tools that of course would be part of critical infrastructure projects. This is a really cool competition. And like the whole point, DARPA was like, hey, we need to run this for the critical infrastructure security of the country. And so, yeah, DEF CON, it was like a multi-year competition. And then you just literally had to hand over the tool to the competition. So you couldn't like run it yourself and like impact it or anything. You just hand it over and they just had to like run it against whatever they were going to run it against. And they had to open source it in order to be part of the competition. So it's like free and out there, right? So Trail of Bits, I think it was called Buttercup. Yeah, look. So you can literally go find this on GitHub right now. So this is Buttercup. This is the Cyber Reasoning System. I said framework. CRS, Cyber Reasoning System. So yeah, you can go try Buttercup right now. You can like run Buttercup against whatever you want to run it against. They've obviously, Trail of Bits is like, making changes about this, whatever, right? This dude Matt Brown on YouTube does cool stuff. Yeah, Matt's awesome. I got to meet him in Vegas. And those were all legit vulnerabilities, not false positives. Yeah. They found 12 zero-day true like vulnerabilities, and then they found the 70 that were like seeded in there for sure. Did any startups pop up after this competition? No, I think they were like already established company. Like Trail of Bits is like a long established, like super smart person, cybersecurity company, 2012. They came in second. They're awesome. They're New York based. These guys started the NYU cyber program. The guy, like the founder of Trail of Bits, was like influential in starting the NYU cybersecurity masters and stuff like this. But yeah, you can go kick the tires on Buttercup like right now. Buttercup finds and patches software vulnerabilities in open source code repositories. It starts by running an AI ML assisted fuzzing campaign. When the vulnerabilities are found, Buttercup analyzes them and uses a multi-agent AI-driven patcher to repair the vulnerability. So this is like, I mean, you've read about like Expo and all these like AI hacking things like on websites. This is the same architecture that they use. So they have like an orchestrator that like orchestrates all the different agents that they're doing. But then instead of like a web hacking thing like Expo, it's a fuzzer, right? So it's like, let's run against code and try to find memory bugs and all these kinds of things that you would find in code, not in a web app, right? Buttercup works with C and Java projects, which is what a lot of these open source like framework level stuff is that we're talking about. And that's it. You just point it at some of these things and you can play with it yourself. Obviously, I mean, they're still updating it, right? 9 hours ago, they're maintaining it. But obviously, Trail of Bits, like this is open source. This was in the competition. They can like take this and productize it and do all sorts of other cool stuff now that they're a company. But yeah, super cool competition. Oh, whoops. I got too many browser tabs open. We already talked about that. This one was kind of a spicy headline today. Silicon Valley enabled brutal mass detention and surveillance in China. Basically getting at that, like the tech powers that be in the US actually were part of a lot of the Chinese surveillance state and things like that we kind of rally against and say that we protect from here. Turns out a lot of the tech that they use is from here, which might not be that surprising to a lot of people, right? But I was trying to see if they named any of the tech companies. AP found a Chinese defense contractor Wadi maybe, worked with IBM to design the main policing system known as the Golden Shield. So there you go. There's IBM. Verified by AP. IBM and other companies that responded say they fully complied with all laws, sanctions, and U.S. export controls. I don't think, like, this isn't the flex that anyone thinks it is, right? I think, like, when reading about the U.S. or other nation states, like, doing bad things comes up, they're like, we didn't break any laws. And then, like, I look at that and go, yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem, is that all this stuff that you did is legal, right? How possible can Clearview be found to be vulnerable in some way? I don't know what you mean. Tech behaved unethically and have no allegiance to anybody by themselves. Shocker. Yeah, Taylor gets it. I mean, this wasn't illegal is the root of the issue. I don't think anyone's like, hey, you broke laws. It's like, hey, you enabled massive authoritarian regimes to do authoritarian regime stuff. Oh, the feed won't load. That's really weird. What feed? Some tech companies even specifically addressed race in their marketing. Dell and a Chinese surveillance firm promoted military-grade AI-powered laptop with all race recognition on Dell's official WeChat account. What? Until contacted by the AP in August, biotech giant's Thermo Fisher Scientific website marketed DNA kits to the Chinese police as designed for the Chinese population, including ethnic minorities. Like, we didn't do anything illegal. Yeah. I don't care that there isn't a specific law that says that you can't market DNA kits to Chinese authoritarian regime stuff. Taylor, you're out. See ya. Thanks for hanging out. You can't hear you at all. I'll have to check my connection. It seems like people can hear me. Clearview AI signed the big contract with the U.S. Gov, yet to for big, small, they may not be used much. Heard about them being targeted. Gotcha. I'll look that up in a sec. Audio's good. Canada. Yeah, cool. Yeah, IG chat has been every once in a while. People are like, oh, it's frozen, but then other people are like, it's fine. So I don't really know what's going on with IG, but we persist. I think this is going to be my short video of the day. What do you guys think? I just kind of want to make the point that, like, yeah, big tech companies being used by authoritarian regimes is like kind of an of course, but like the fact that their response to this is that they didn't break the law is like not the point. We fully complied with all laws and sanctions. Yeah, but you still did some like really authoritarian enabling crap, like letting the Chinese police identify ethnic minorities. Gosh. And then some people say cybersecurity isn't political. It's like, come on. Mm, 20 former U.S. officials and national security experts wrote a letter in July criticizing a deal for NVIDIA to sell the H20 chips used in artificial intelligence to China, worth about 15% of revenues going to the U.S. government. They said no matter who the chip is sold to, it will fall in the hands of the Chinese military. Yeah, right? It's like you're going to sell it to someone legally and they're going to sell it to someone in China legally. I've heard of that. NVIDIA says it does not make mass surveillance systems or software, does not work with police in China, and has not designed the H20 for police surveillance. I mean, I guess I kind of understand this point, right? NVIDIA is making chips. It's really hard to be like, what are the chips for? Chinese or American laws is a really good question. I think IBM was referring to American laws and sanctions. But if an AI system is, if it is an AI system and it is the US Gov tied, would it make sense to just watch them and see how some would try? I don't think that's what's going on. Clearview AI is facial recognition software. And you're saying they're vulnerable? I don't know the Clearview AI story offhand. If something popped up, I haven't seen it yet. Thermo Fisher and hard drive maker Seagate promoted their products to Chinese police at a conference and trade show this year. I mean, it's hard to come after hard drives, right? It's like, okay, yeah, hard drives get used in weird ways. I don't know. That's pulling the thread a little bit crazy, right? I don't know. What do you guys think about this one? HP also sold technology services knowingly to Chinese police or surveillance companies. Four practicing lawyers said sales like those uncovered by AP could potentially go against at least the spirit, if not the letter, of U.S. export laws, which companies denied. So there you go. So my point about, hey, it's legal and I don't even care, might actually be not the point. Is like, it might actually be illegal. Hey, Ralphie, thanks for the gifts. Was in Vegas during DEF CON. Some badass conversations and ideas discussed late in the Flamingo Bar. That's always the best place, is the late night lobby bar hangout during DEF CON is always better than the actual conference, for sure. I had a good time at the conference this year. I'm getting close to being hungry. What else we got? Oh yeah, did you see this guy? I saw his mugshot. Why is it not in this article? Let's find the Department of Justice. No, this isn't going to be his mugshot either. Come on. I thought I saw his mugshot somewhere. It's a very long name to copy. Let's copy his long ass name and find his mugshot for everybody. Guess that'll be fun. Well, here's one. Boom. Reward of up to $10 million for this ransomware guy. What just happened? What just happened? Boom. Oh, here's the thing I was looking for. Yeah. $10 million for information leading to the arrest of this guy. So apparently, it doesn't say which specific ransomware attacks this guy was a part of, right? But it says like him and his alleged co-conspirators are believed to have extorted more than 250 companies across the U.S. and hundreds more globally, generating tens of millions of dollars in damages. I wonder if that means in payments to him. I'm wondering how much he made. That'd be interesting. Victims suffered not just loss of data and disabling of business operations, but high mitigation and recovery costs. Yeah, I can believe that. Blue chip corporations, healthcare institutions, and major industrial firms. I'd love to see the real names. Which attacks was this guy behind? That'd be super interesting. Prosecutors detailed how the group tailored attacks to entities with annual revenues exceeding 100 million, sometimes specifically seeking out companies in U.S., Canada, or Australia. Additionally, the State Department announced rewards totaling of 10 million for information leading to the arrest or conviction. Separate reward of up to $1 million for information of other key leaders of the groups deploying these ransomware variants. Repeatedly used ransomware attacks to target hundreds of companies in the U.S. and around the globe. Today's announcement should serve as a warning. Cybercriminals may believe they act with impunity while conducting harmful cyber intrusions, but law enforcement is on to you and will hold you accountable. Christopher Rea, FBI Assistant Director. FBI, along with our law enforcement partners, will continue to scour the globe to bring justice to any individual attempting to use anonymity of the internet to commit a crime. Ba-ba-ba. As I read this, a bot shows up in Twitch and spams my channel. That's funny. Sales Loft has been nonstop right now. Canada, is there more? Is there more in new Sales Loft stuff? Based on this and their huge contract now, maybe they are more than I thought. Oh, I see. Clearview source code lapse. That article's from 2020. I haven't been hearing recent stuff about Sales Loft. Am I cray? Oh gosh, guys, this was like super off the screen. So sorry. How did that get off kilter? There you go. That's better. See, this is what happens when I have too many screens open. I couldn't even see that I like must have dragged that off screen when I was moving windows around or something earlier. I haven't seen any new stuff about Sales Loft. Go on. What else do I have? What else was I going to talk about today? We talked about NPM stuff. Is there any update to this? If I just like refresh this blog, is there an update? Last updated September 10th. What's the update? I don't see any update. I don't see like a clear update. Did they just like subtly change something in here? This is the NPM bug. I thought maybe that they would update with the fact that it doesn't look like many people downloaded this, if any. Yeah, I don't know what the update is. It says updated today, but I don't see the update. Plex security incident. Yeah, I saw Plex wind up on Have I Been Pwned. That was kind of gnarly. Did you guys see this whistleblower? I talked about this yesterday on live, so sorry if I'm repeating it, but I don't know. I was thinking about it some more, right? This guy basically said that he was the head of security at WhatsApp. He basically came out and he was blowing the whistle while still employed there, saying that they were basically lying to the FTC. And he wanted to cover his ass. Hey, thanks for the follow. And so, and he's alleging, he's suing Meta now, saying that they fired him for the, firing him for the whistleblow thing. They're coming out now. And what did they say? This is a familiar playbook in which a former employee is dismissed for poor performance and then goes public with distorted claims that misrepresent the ongoing work of our team. This is just BS, man. This is like, hey, don't be loyal to these companies. This is what happens as soon as you're not there. This is what happens. HackerOne confirms what data breach, Canada? I saw the threat actors that we talked about the threat actor Huntress thing. We talked about that one already earlier on stream. That was fun. It was kind of cool. It wasn't too crazy, but kind of cool to see some of the methodology stuff. Was HackerOne breached themselves? I didn't see that yet. Oh, HackerOne was part of Sales Loft. I haven't seen like too many crazy like impact stuff from the Sales Loft. Just a lot of like people, and then obviously there was some sensitive stuff in some of those like cases. Like of course people put stuff in Salesforce that they shouldn't have. I see it. HackerOne data breach. Hackers illegally access Salesforce environment. Man, it's wild that we're still just hearing initial announcements from SalesLoft stuff, right? That was like early August when all that stuff happened. HackerOne has stated that the compromised records did not include any sensitive customer vulnerability submissions or private security reports. Separation of internal data and customer vulnerability data ensured that no exploit details, proof of concept code, or vulnerability assessments were exposed. Instead, the breach appears to have impacted general Salesforce records such as contact information and standard account details. This is what I mean. I mean, it's a bad breach. It's a really bad breach, but we haven't seen a whole lot of impact from it. Looks like that dude got his own MK9 Reaper drone looking for him. Yeah, for sure. What else did I pull up to talk about? We already talked about all of that. How about this one? See this? Underground marketplace guy pleaded guilty. This BlackDB CC cybercrime marketplace been active since 2018. And authorities arrested 33-year-old defendant known online as BlackDB. I wonder how they tied him to BlackDB. He was extradited to the U.S. on May 9th, detained following his court appearance in Tampa on May 12th. And yeah, it was just a marketplace selling compromised accounts, server credentials, stolen credit card information, and PII belonging to victims worldwide. Yeah, that's what dark web databases do. He was charged with 5 counts of fraudulent use of unauthorized access devices, so just the hacking charge, 1 count of conspiracy to commit access device fraud. If convicted on all counts, the marketplace admin could face a maximum of 55 years. But didn't it say he pled guilty? He's pleaded guilty. So what are we talking about if he pleaded guilty? If I guess they pleading guilty could mean a plea deal or something, and so might not be convicted on all counts. Kosovo Police Cybercrime Investigation Directorate. I mean, yeah, another one bites the dust. All right, let's pull up Feedly. What else? That's a cool one. Chinese APT deploys extreme fileless malware to breach Philippine military systems. An APT group in China has been attributed to the compromise of Philippine-based military company, the malware framework called Extreme. Just makes me think executor, right? I'm like picturing malware like a Pokemon malware. Is that just me? He will end up working for the feds. The Kosovo guy? I don't know. If he's just running a marketplace and he wasn't like actually doing it, that's like kind of weird. Multi-stage tool set by injecting malicious code directly into memory, leveraging DLL sideloading. So what are they talking about fileless malware if it's doing all that? All right, let's get off Hacker News. This is Bitdefender. How's it doing all that fileless? I've seen some fileless malware, but it's mostly just like compromised, like the cloud platform infrastructure. Multi-stage toolset achieves persistent low-profile espionage by injecting malicious code directly into memory and leveraging DLL sideloading to execute payloads. That doesn't sound very fileless to me, does it? Extreme Agent is full-featured backdoor, enables extensive system requirement. What's the fileless? What's fileless? What makes this framework difficult to detect is its fileless nature. While encrypted malware components are present on the disk, the decrypted malicious code is executed and resides solely in memory, never touching the file system. Okay. The This, coupled with the heavy use of DLL sideloading and the sophisticated multi-stage execution flow, allows the framework to operate with a low profile, making it a significant and persistent threat. That's pretty interesting. When I heard fileless, I saw something literally last week of like a ransomware thing that was fileless because it just compromised a cloud identity and then just never installed anything on any of the servers, just did all like the cloud platform stuff. Hits direct memory. Yeah, Canada. Yeah, interesting. I get, yeah, I mean, I guess that's fileless, right? I don't know. I mean, am I nitpicky saying a DLL file is a DLL file? But I see what you mean. Places a malicious DLL in a location where legitimate programs will search for it. Windmail exe is executed and loads the DLL instead of the system's original version. This allows the attacker to execute their malicious code under the guise of a trusted program. Yeah, that's nasty too. That's a super nasty technique too. So it's executing under a trusted program, not executing their own program, right? I'm a newbie when it comes to stuff. How do these companies realize they've been breached? Depends on the breach, depends on the company. Sometimes they realize when the FBI calls them. That happens a lot. Sometimes they realize when a reporter calls them. That happens a lot. We call it the Krebs effect, right? If Brian Krebs is calling your company, it means he's got some info that you don't. It happens. But no, most of the time it's like a security team responding to an incident, right? So like an alert went off, the attacker did something that tripped an alert somewhere, or if it was phishing, maybe the person that got phished realized they fell for something. But mostly it's like behavior, right? Attackers are going to behave differently than employees. So if you're watching what the accounts that you're in charge of are doing, it's like, that's weird. Did Bob just install a... Pretty obvious that something went wrong, right? Depends what, which breach you're talking about though. The Salesforce stuff, if you're talking about like the HackerOne and Salesforce stuff, it's like if you were a customer of this thing and it's all over the news that thing got breached, you start going look at your logs and see what happened. A lot of people don't have the same monitoring on their SaaS logs as they do their internal like cloud or endpoint logs. Yeah, this is a pretty nasty malware. That Hacker News article does not do it justice. Campaign success is a direct result of a highly coordinated malware toolkit, not a collection of isolated implants. Each component serves a distinct purpose in the attack chain, from initial exploitation to persistence in memory, payload, delivery, and final remote command and control. A deeper analysis reveals strong ties among the components, suggesting a single unified development effort. This is APT stuff all over it, right? This is evident in the consistent use of shared techniques like DLL sideloading, RC4 and XOR encryption, or fileless execution. Gnarly, dude. The loader. Yeah, this Windmail thing picking up this DLL so that it runs in Windmail and not in its own program is pretty cool. When the DLL is loaded, the configuration structure is initialized in memory and hard-coded, including two C2 servers, domain and then IP address, and a main port, 443. A function then checks the on-disk encryption. If found, it's decrypted with the RC4 key, and the in-memory configuration is updated. If the file doesn't exist, the malware will create it, including necessary directory structure. Yeah. It's pretty cool. The delivery mechanism gets the DLL on the machine, gets picked up by the WinLogin and WinMail stuff, right? And then does all the nastiness. Yeah, it's cool. Canada, thanks for kicking me to dig into the fileless stuff deeper. Did I read the NPM supply chain malware? Yeah, I made 2 videos on it. My most recent 2 videos are about that. Yeah, we were just talking about it earlier. I was trying to see if there was a update. It says it was updated September 10th, but I can't figure out what is new in this blog from Hokkaido. I don't see what the update is. I was hoping they were going to update NPM's like response to this. We got the maintainer's response. Indicators of compromise. I really don't see an update. I don't know why they say they update on the 10th. Unless it's some like weird subtle, like, oh, they fixed one of these numbers or something and they just didn't mark it. Yeah, we already talked about that guy. What was the Korean thing that someone... Oh, yeah, I saw this Jaguar. Jaguar Land Rover. Some data affected. Why does the register always use, like, slang? Just use normal words. September 2nd, it had to shut down its systems to mitigate the impact of the incident. It claims there's no evidence of data theft, although its retail and production activities have been severely dented. 4 days later, it apologized for the continued disruption, made ongoing efforts. And then in the latest update, Jaguar Land Rover confirmed the situation was rather worse than initially estimated. As a result of our ongoing investigation, we now believe that some data has been affected, and we are informing the relevant regulators. Our forensics investigation continues at pace, and we will contact anyone as appropriate when we find their data has been impacted. They did not indicate the type of data impacted. We're very sorry for the continued disruption this incident is causing. Third-party cybersecurity specialists who are combing through the wreckage. Jaguar Land Rover says it's still working around the clock to restart global applications in a controlled and safe manner. Employees have been asked to remain at home since the attack was made public and are not expected to return until at least next Monday. Jeez, they are kneecapped. Sources told us they're unable to service their Jaguar Land Rover cars last week, so you can't even go get your car fixed due to the systems being taken offline. One said it related to parts ordering and diagnostic services. At over $1,000 for a Swift oil change, it would be nice if they could keep their IT systems secure. Isn't the customer quipped? Scattered Spider is suspected. Ransomware crew. Why? Why is Scattered Spider suspected? I don't see a why there. That's wild. That they've been down for days and they don't expect to even call their employees back in until next Monday is kind of insane. Yeah, everyone's talking about Jaguar Land Rover. Geez, everyone's talking about it. All right, cool. Well, I think that might be it for the day, peeps. This has been fun. If you liked all this, please like, subscribe, follow if you aren't. Subscribe to my newsletter, volnew.com, if you haven't. Volnew.com. That really supports the channel a ton. And yeah, I've been doing this every day now, so I'll probably be live tomorrow too.